I'm Darrell Watkins, and let's queer up the USA view. New book highlights gay bar that helped spark LGBTQ rights movement in northern Minnesota. Minnesota LGBTQ plus history is often centered on the Twin Cities, but a new book is shining a spotlight on a movement that grew in northern Minnesota and neighboring Wisconsin. Remember the Maine, the gay bar that started a movement in the Northland, chronicles the story of Bob Jansen and the Maine Club, a gay bar that opened in Superior, Wisconsin in the 1980s. Author Meg Gorzicki says the venue became a refuge and organizing hub for queer people during a time when openly identifying as gay often carried significant risks. Jansen opened the bar after winning a legal settlement following his dismissal from a job for being gay. According to Gorzicki, the Maine Club became more than a nightlife venue, serving as a gathering place for community building, advocacy, and coalition building efforts. Gorzicki described Jansen as, quote, a social worker with a liquor license, end quote, crediting him with helping connect people and inspire activism across the region. The book also explores broader civil rights struggles in northern Minnesota during the 1970s and 1980s, including battles against discrimination, sexual violence, and barriers facing LGBTQ+ people, women, Native Americans, and other marginalized communities. The book will be out this month. I love these stories. I love the stories because they remind me of my story. You know, I was a little hillbilly fag, and the first time I walked into, I swear to God, it was called BJ's. I wonder what it stood for. And then then the second one was called Our House Lounge, and then the third was called The Gig. And it was supposedly, they said it stood for gay interest groups, but everyone said no, it stands for Get It Girl. But anyway, but these were like pilgrimages, because you know, this was in my case the 80s, and in the Bible Belt, you know, the Arkansas Mountains, and so that we even had such a thing. You know what I mean? There sometimes wasn't a sign outside, there wasn't a light. I mean, it was super clandestine. But once you got inside, it was like that tent in Harry Potter where you walk in this little tent and suddenly there's this palace inside. It was like
entering Oz.
Yes, it was magical. Yeah. And so I'm glad, but that's what this rural area but people find this safe place and then they thrive. And gay bars, which are declining, by the way, gay bars. I'm very sad about that. But they are so much a part of our history. They were our safe place. That's where we found each other. That's what birthed other organizations. In fact, in 1969, the Metropolitan Community Churches were started as a open space, a religious place for gay people, by gay people, and their allies. And a lot of those early churches started in gay bars. No bar was open at 11 o'clock Sunday morning. And so sometimes they would rent it out, sometimes they'd give it. But bars even helped queer churches, which were part of the movement. So when of course, New York and San Francisco and Boston, I'm glad there's so many, but if you got something in northern Minnesota, central Arkansas, Montana, West Virginia, those places were lifesavers.
Yeah, churches started, community centers often started in bars because it was a place where everybody could gather. So I am so thrilled that books about queer bars are becoming so popular. And I'd like to make some recommendations
I was about to say, do you ever
of others for viewers to add to their TBR list.
Oh, wow. See,
Dugan's Bistro and The Legend of the Bearded Lady by Owen Keenan is fabulous. Dugan's Bistro was sort of Chicago's version of Studio 54.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Moby Dyke, an obsessive quest to track down the last remaining lesbian bars in America by Krista Burton. Fantastic book.
Gotta have that one.
This is one of the newest ones. The Lesbian Bar Chronicles, the living history and hopeful future of America's dyke dives and sapphic spaces by Rachel Karp.
Love the word sapphic.
Who Needs Gay Bars? Bar Hopping Through America's Endangered, as you said, LGBTQ plus places by Gregor Mattson. And of course, the two books co-written by my husband, Rick Harlan, with Saint-Suki Delacroix and Fred Feges, respectively. That's Last Call Chicago, a history of 1,001 LGBTQ-friendly taverns, haunts, and hangouts, and Last Call South Florida, a history of 1,001 LGBTQ-friendly taverns, haunts, and hangouts. And the third book in this series, Last Call Boston, is coming out, I believe, in 2027. So
Wow.
it's really exciting. And now he's working on one about DC. So it's great to see that these books about the gay bars are being read, they're being published, they're being written. I think it's an important part of our history.
Yeah. I also remember in the 80s and early 90s, the AIDS epidemic.
Yeah.
For those of us of a certain age, that was completely formative if you lived through it.
Yeah.
Then it shaped who you became. And I remember $1 at a time, one drink at a time, raising money for AIDS organizations, sometimes for individuals who needed a funeral or whatever.
Right.
And drag queens would donate their tips, bartenders would donate their tips, people would charge an extra buck at the door and give that. Like it was more than a place to hang out. It was more than a place to dance or pick up somebody, although all those things are good.
Yeah, sure.
But it was also a place, it was a place where community was built and where we tried to save each other.
Yeah.
And, somebody, all of a sudden, this poor guy who's always at the bar Friday, he's not there anymore.
Yeah.
And so, word would get around, oh, well, I think he's in the hospital or whatever. And it was a way you heard about information.
For sure.
It was, maybe it's just nostalgia, not practical, but gay bars just were so formative for me. I hope they never fully go away. Everyone should have the joy that I felt the first time I walked into a gay bar.
Same here.
There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.